So I know we worked through a little bit of this in class, but I want to just take about 15-20 minutes to talk a little bit more so we don't get too behind from missing Friday. So we reviewed in class the different forms a 1 can take, okay? We talked about 19 over 19 being 1, 3A over 3A being 1. And so I want to look at this example again. So if you have a product, basically you can just make one big fraction because you're going to multiply the numerators times the numerators and the denominators times the denominators. And then this is where you can, again, if you have the same units on the top of the fraction as you do in the bottom, you can reduce those down to 1 and then write the remaining factors in the numerator and the denominator. So that's how they got 3g over 14. Okay, so I wanted to skip down and look at this problem on the bottom. So without looking at the answer, I want you to take a minute, like turn off the video if you need to, and see what units, let's cover up that bottom, let's cover up that side, we can cancel. All right? So take a minute, stop the video, and see what units you can cancel, and then we'll review how to put that into our calculator. So I'm hoping that you see the ounces will cancel. I have ounces on the top of the fraction, ounces on the bottom. Pounds on the top, pounds on the bottom. My other class said, well, let's just cancel out the ones too. You have a 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom. And then we'll go ahead and multiply what's remaining. So I'm going to put a fraction into my calculator. And then upstairs, I have the 30 times the 453 and 6/10. And the only number on the bottom is 16. And then when we hit enter, that's where they got the 850 and a half. And you see the only units that we have left are grams. So this is how we're going to be working through some conversions. Now the only other problems I want to try are just the few that I've made little notes on. All right, so it says in the US we measure height in feet and inches, but other parts of the world measure in meters. So they say, let's pretend someone is 5 feet 10 inches tall, so that's 70 inches. And they said, can you please convert that to meters? So we have 70 inches. Now if you look on the conversion chart, there isn't inches to meters, but we do have inches to centimeters. So like we learned in class, we're going to take what we're given and put it over 1, and we're going to go ahead and convert this to centimeters. So we want the units in the denominator that we want to get rid of, and we want the units that we want in the numerator, and then we fill in the numbers. So in 1 inch, there's 2.54 centimeters. So inches will cancel. 1 times 1 is just 1, so you don't need to put that in the bottom if you don't want to. And it's just going to be multiplying the numerators. So 177 and 8/10 centimeters. Now you'll be given King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. You'll be given those letters. And we want to go from centimeters over here to the base, which is meters. So here's my start. 1, 2 to the left. So I just need to shift my decimal 2 places to the left to get my centimeters into meters. Okay? All right, let's try another one. So it says in the U.S. we measure weight in pounds, but other parts of the world weight is measured in kilograms. So they ask us to convert the weight of a person who's 180 pounds into kilograms. So this is the conversion that they gave you on the previous page. So you always start with what they give you and put it over 1. Make a fraction out of it. And then we're going to multiply it by a conversion fraction. So you want the units in the bottom that you want to get rid of. We want to get rid of pounds. So pounds have to go downstairs. And then we want kilograms in the numerator. And then you fill in the number. So for 1 kilogram, it's 2 2/10 pounds. So our pounds cancel. If you want to cancel the ones, that's good too. And then you see we're left with kilograms, and then we're going to pull out our calculator and put those remaining numbers in a fraction. So we have 180 upstairs, 2.2 downstairs, and there's my answer. We'll add that to the nearest hundredth. So it looks like it's 81 and 80.82 kilograms, right? If we round it to the nearest hundredths, that's 2 decimals, so that 8 tells the 1 to make it higher. Right? Let's try a couple more. So it says, texting while driving in New York State is against the law, and there's a reason for that, because when you look away from the road, you really don't realize how far you travel when your eyes are off the road for a few seconds. So they say a person's is texting, so they're driving, and it says they might spend about 4 seconds to answer a text message. So how far would a car go in that time? Well, it depends on how fast the person is driving. So they say, let's say they're going pretty slow. 35 miles per hour is pretty slow, okay? So what we need to do is we need to convert the 35 miles per hour, 35 miles per means divide. Okay, so we have 1 hour in the bottom, 35 miles per 1 hour. We need to convert this to feet per second. And then if we want to know how far we go in 4 seconds, then we just multiply by 4. So first, let's take care of the hours. So we spent some time in class, and you can look in your notes. In 1 hour, there's 3,600 seconds. So if I want to get rid of hours and hours in the bottom of my fraction, I put hours in the top and seconds in the bottom, and then we'll fill in the numbers. So now hours are going to cancel, and I'll be left with seconds. And now miles, well, we want miles on the bottom, and then we want feet on the top, and then we look up the numbers. So in 1 mile, there's 5,280 feet. And you can just look up that number on the previous page. Here, I'll show you what the chart I'm talking about. There's a chart right here that you'll be given, so you don't have to memorize any of those. So right there you can see in 1 mile, there's 5,280 feet. Okay. And now the miles will cancel, and I'm just left with feet on the top and then just seconds on the bottom. So let's put these values into our calculator, because we want to know how far we're going to travel in feet per 1 second. So we have 35 upstairs, 5,280. Whoops, let me try that again. There's my fraction. We have 35 times 5,280 in the numerator. In the denominator, we have 3,600. If you want to put times 1, you can. So I want mine to be a decimal. Do you see how mine gave it as a fraction? So I'm just going to tell the calculator to convert number 4 as fraction to a decimal. So it looks like we're going to be traveling 51.33 feet per 1 second. So if we look down for 4 seconds, for every second we look down, we're traveling 51.33 feet. So I'm just going to use that number and multiply it by 4. That's how many feet we travel in 1 second. If we look down for 4 seconds, we travel 205 feet. That's a lot of feet that we're traveling, that our eyes aren't on the road. So we're going to be traveling 205.3 feet in those 4 seconds. Now they said if you're traveling 45 miles per hour, how many feet will you travel in 4 seconds? So why don't you turn the camera off, the tape off, and see if you can, without or even looking upstairs, convert 45 miles per 1 hour into feet per second. All right, hopefully you worked it through. So in 1 hour, we have 3,600 seconds. And then in 1 mile, we have 5,280 feet. So the 1 hour cancels with the 1 hour. The miles cancel with miles. And then we're going to put 45 times 5,280 in our calculator for the numerator. And then in the downstairs, we have this 3,600. So if we're going 45 miles per hour, we're traveling 66 feet per 1 second. So if they want to know how far are we traveling in 4 seconds, we just multiply that by 4, and that's going to tell us how many feet we're traveling. It makes sense that it's bigger than the number upstairs because it's faster, so we'll be traveling further. 264 feet is how many feet we'd be traveling. Again, that's where our eyes are off the road. Okay, and then let's end it, the last one, with this one. Okay, try one more. So here they're asking us to convert 80 kilometers per 1 hour to feet per second. So the first thing we're going to have to do is convert our kilometers to miles. So let's just do that. Now this is on the chart on the previous page. We want to get rid of kilometers and be left with miles. And then these are the numbers that they give you. In 1 kilometer, there's a little bit more than half of a mile. So do you see the kilometers cancel? So this is going to give us miles per hour. And then we can go upstairs. No, we don't even need the calculator. And then we can go upstairs and do what we did upstairs. So if I want to get rid of miles, miles goes on the bottom, and we're left with feet upstairs. So in 1 mile, there's 5,280 feet. So you see the miles are gone. Now I have feet per hour. So to get rid of the hour, we put hours upstairs and seconds downstairs. So in 1 hour, we have 3,600 seconds. So do you see the 1 hour cancels with the 1 hour? See, the only units we have left are feet on the top and seconds on the bottom. So let's see what we have. So if we're in Canada and we're driving, our speedometer is only in kilometers. Here's my fraction. So in the numerator, I have 80 times 0.62 times 5280. That's upstairs. And then in the bottom, we have 3,600. And you can put times 1 times 1 times 1, but it doesn't impact anything. So it looks like we're going 72.75, if we round it, feet per second. So again, if we go 4 seconds, oops, try that again, 72.75 times 4, we're going to be traveling about 291 feet. So if our eyes are off the road for that long, a lot of things could happen, especially around here with deer running across the roads right now. So that is enough of a review that you can go back and look again at some conversions like we did in class. And then we'll finish this up when we come back on Monday. All right, so please let me know if you have any questions. This is the part of the notes that I want you to have done and ready to hand in on Wednesday. And it's part of your Oh Wow. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions and have a good weekend.